guys is the eclipse. Are you doing anything? Did you get the glasses? Are you going outside? Are you traveling to under the 100% sun blocked? I am taking Monday off work. I'm going to attempt to drive up to Syracuse. 4 hours away to get underneath the path of the full eclipse. Seems like a once in a lifetime chance to, be plunged into darkness in the middle of the day. You doing anything, Brian?
Probably just popping out into the yard and taking a look. I don't know. It's sort of funny. Everybody is
Staring
like,
into the sun.
yep, squinting into the sun, regretting it for the next 40 years. No, we do have the eclipse glasses, but I don't know. Yeah, it's sort of funny. The schools around here are like, it's a school day. We know there's an eclipse. Like, please send your kids to school. I do know some people that are planning to pull their kids out and take a trip, so we'll see.
These things don't happen that often.
Yeah.
So where we are, we're in Philadelphia. It's like 85% coverage. So if you go outside and just look up without traveling, it should be pretty cool. But my understanding, and I don't know if you saw XKCD yesterday, their graph of how cool an eclipse is.
Oh.
It's a giant spike.
Okay.
Underneath the full coverage, right? The 100% difference between getting to 100% versus 91%.
That's cool.
Yeah, the Poconos, which is like 2 hours away, get you up into like the 90s, but which I was kind of thinking might be good enough. But since his cartoon, I'm thinking no. All right. Oh, Smash Network might stream the eclipse.
Nice.
Who will donate if I kill my phone? So in upstate New York, it's like 3:20 p.m. Eastern time. So you'll have to figure out. It actually it sweeps west to east. It's very confusing to me. It all seems backwards, and why would it be so tilted?
Yeah, I think it is west east. The things I've seen sort of go from like Texas up through New York into Canada. Looks like it's sweeping that way, but
yeah. So yeah. All right.
There's good animated maps of when it's going to be peak where.
Yeah, Alabama seems, south and west of the action, I would think. I think you'll see the sun half blocked, but
yeah, probably
you have to make it to, Texas or Ohio, right? And there's that diagonal line across the country. All right. So we have a new video coming out today, right after this. Debating Ethernet ports. Should laptops have Ethernet ports? Should they make a comeback? I know Apple has stripped all of them. In fact, most PC makers have. But what are your thoughts, Brian?
I mean, no, they shouldn't. That's my thought. USB-C, give me, at least 4 USB-C ports, and that's it. I mean, Ethernet is not a port that's meant to clip into a laptop, and I don't think there should be anything that has that much stickiness that's stuck into a laptop.
So I have a Windows laptop, which has 2 USB-C ports and a USB-A port. And I have my Mac, which has 2 USB-C ports. And let me tell you, that one USB-A port is so useful. It is so useful. USB-A is not dead yet.
Yeah, I guess.
Thumb drive in a keyboard. Like, I use it. So, all right. Marby says, I took photos of the eclipse in 2017. I think I saved my retinas. Maybe not my camera, though. Yeah. Yeah, you got to read careful instructions on how to photograph the sun before you point anything at it. All right.
All right, Paco.
Concerts and massive events with Switcher Studio and iPhones. I just bought Speedify. I use the 5G of the iPhones with what I transmit, and I add the 5G of an Android. Nice. Right. Here we go. Sorry. Both from different companies through a network cable. Everything connects, but I see no increase my upload speeds. Can you help me?
So I guess I'm curious what I mean, if you look at the graphs of Speedify, does it look like it's using both? Yeah, I mean, if you're not increasing your upload speed, is it really just using one? Is it an issue of not setting the priority right? I mean, I guess also what upload speeds are you seeing? But yeah, I'm curious to hear what those usage graphs look like in Speedify. Does it look
Could
like it's
also
using
be
both?
redundant.
Good.
Right?
Yeah.
It could be that you have so much packet loss that realizes the smartest thing to do is send it twice and just make sure it gets through. Yeah.
Okay. So he's saying it looks like it's using both. Yeah, I'm curious what the priorities are set to. And if it's saying that it's streaming redundantly in the status, that could be
A big hint. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Brian, I'll go outside and look at the leaves turning eclipse. All right. People loving Ethernet ports. All right. Carry on 50-foot cables. Stay connected to Ethernet. Yeah. It's mobile. Ethernet's mobile. Just a long enough cable.
Yeah.
All right, so Speedify 14.7 was released on everything but Android yesterday. Should be coming out on Android today. I don't know what the delay is. Just waiting for
Google's just been taking a long time to review stuff, right? I mean, it's sort of weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird. They used to be like instant, where you'd submit for review, and like a minute and a half later, it's done. And lately, we've had some where it's sitting for like 4 days waiting for review from Google, and I don't know what they. We've never been rejected, right? I don't know what. I don't know. At least in Apple, the App Store stuff, sometimes you get these sort of esoteric rejections for this view in the UI doesn't say this and it should. We've never really been dinged by Google, so it's kind of weird.
All right. So Speedify 14.7, we have a lot, mostly improvements around parent share. So one, desktop computers now default to always discoverable. So I don't know if you guys noticed or not, when the devices magically find each other, they're only actually looking for each other when the Speedify screen is up. You pop it up to look for another device and they find each other. Now desktops, Macs, Windows, Linux, by default stay discoverable the whole time, quietly announcing on the Wi-Fi, hey, I'm here. If you don't like that, by the way, you can get the old behavior back on the parent share screen. There's now a setting for always discoverable. Two, if you don't like parent share, there's actually now a setting to hide it off the dashboard. Although most people have been using it and loving it. There are a couple people every week saying, I'm not using it. I have no other device. Why does it take up so much room on my dashboard? Fine. Turn it off. There's a setting on the very bottom of the parent share screen now. There's a switch for display on dashboard. You can get rid of it. We improved the messages when parent share can't work, explaining why it can't work. Often it's like, you need to connect Speedify on the other device. You need to connect Speedify on this device. The other guy has no internet, whatever. It explains to you why it's not working. So I think that'll make some of the mystery of, why sometimes it's wonderful, sometimes it doesn't work. They'll tell you why it doesn't work. And finally, there's a new graph, the shared graph. Well, I guess there was a shared graph, but it's been completely redone. It now shows each of your internet connections, and then underneath it, which of the devices you're sharing with are actually using it right now. And I think it makes a lot of parent share much clearer. So those are the big new features on Linux. Couple real improvements. One, if you're using Linux as a Wi-Fi hotspot to share Speedify, and your version of Linux uses Network Manager, Speedify can now once again control which channel of the Wi-Fi that you share on. So instructions online about editing speedify.conf work on even more Linuxes now. And finally, Linux much faster detecting new internet connections. It used to take up to 2 seconds. Now it takes much less than a second. If you plug in an Ethernet cable until when Speedify starts using it. Depending on what you're doing, that second might be no difference at all, or it might be, might be a huge difference. So Speedify really detects new internet much faster. All right. Ebullient abundance. If I exceed my phone data, will parent share still work between the phones? If you have no hotspot data left to share, then Speedify will stop sharing, right? It's using your tethered data. I mean, it can still use from other devices if they have it. But all right. Flash TV, what's the record speed test on Speedify?
So the most I've seen on a laptop through a public server is something like 900 megabits. Most we've seen between like 2 laptops is something more like 3 gigabits. And the most we've seen between 2 big machines with a bunch of clients on one connected through the other, I think was a little over 120 gigabits. So hope that helps there.
Did you read about that new 301 terabit per second internet connection? Yeah, so when I was in college, dating myself, somewhere around 1994, my college announced that they now had the fastest internet connection in the entire world, 2 gigabits. I think 6 weeks later, MIT got something faster, but there was this moment where, somewhere in 1990, I think it was 1994, where 2 gigabits was the fastest internet connection in the entire world. All right. Paco says, to do live streaming with cell phones, what parameters do you recommend? Speed, redundant, UDP, T-speed, other? Thanks, Steve. Live. All right.
I mean, I think honestly the defaults should be good for that. So I think the streaming mode is really smart about using speed, using the bonding for increased speed when it needs to, and noticing packet loss, and sending things redundantly when it needs to do that. I mean, the default mode there is streaming mode, and that I think is the best sort of mix for that. The default is for the transport is to use multiple TCP connections, which again I think should be the best. If you're having things like, I mean, if your cell connections are pretty poor, you may see it perform better switching to UDP. But I think our multiple TCP should perform better than, should perform well, even if your cell connections start dropping out. I think the only thing that may come up is making sure that the priorities are right. We'll do our best to sort of detect, does this thing look like a terrestrial connection? Should it be primary, or does it look like a cellular connection? Should it be secondary? You may want to tweak that, knowing, what you want us to use a lot of and what you want us to use a little of. And I think making sure, if you're combining a bunch of cell connections, making sure they're all the same priority, if you want to use them all about the same, is important.
And there is no real difference between making all of your connections secondary and all of your connections primary. Right. If you just want them all treated the same, just make sure they're the same. Either one will do. All right. There's a few thousand people who default to thinking 1990 was 10 years ago. Yeah, it's kind of me. I don't hear enough people talking. You don't, how much like 1990 to 1994, the entire world changed completely and has basically changed very little since, right? In that single time period, the Soviet Union fell. Al Qaeda bombed the World Trade Center for the first time. AT&T came out with the first unlimited cell phone plan. And Mosaic, the web browser that supported pictures, was launched. Like, before 1990, you were in the 20th century, and afterwards, you're in this era. Like all of it, somehow that 4-year period, as much happened as World War II, and I don't hear enough people talking about that. How little has happened since. We're just still sitting here with our unlimited cell phones and our web browsers, and yet we're using them more, and they're cheaper, and they're faster, higher resolution, but it's more of the same. All right. How many simultaneous connections can the Speedify system software handle? Yeah, do you mean internet connections or do you mean like sockets going over it? But I'll let Brian answer both of those.
Sure. So internet connections, what are we at? Are we at 32 or something? Is that right?
31.
Still, 31. Yeah. Okay. So I think we can handle 31 simultaneous internet connections, and that's kind of a self-imposed limit. But I think you'd probably see diminishing returns after you start adding more than 10, I would say. And simultaneous connections like flowing through it, I think we're at something like 20,000 or so. So if you have a ton of sockets going through Speedify, I think things can start to get jammed up after about 20,000 or so. That's actual open sockets through it.
All right. All right. Smash TV Network's asking, will you be doing a lot of outdoor streaming, Paco? Yeah, what are you streaming? I don't think you said. 31. Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, we handle 31, but as he said, diminishing returns. If you have 31 cell phones, most of them are going to be connecting to the same one tower. And you're probably not going to get more than 3 was going to give you. We see fun things, people connecting to 3 cell phones and a Starlink, and the DSL line in case all of those stink. So I see real scenarios where people are like 6, 7 internet connections, and they've got a reason to use every one of them. So that really happens. But 20? Why would you need 20 internet connections? I met one person once who needed 50. And they had a reason. They were in Antarctica. And all they had was those Iridium cell phones that could do 7 kilobits. So they lined up 50 of them, spread out across a huge amount of space. So they were trying to get to a 300 kilobit internet connection, which I guess in Antarctica is pretty exciting. All right. Can you show me how to create custom bypass and add URLs of websites that detect VPN? On Windows and Linux, yes. The Speedify CLI has some bypass commands. Speedify CLI, bypass, add, domain, I think. Run it, look at the usage. And there's a PDF, speedifycli.pdf, that's included in the install directory on Windows and on Linux. The bypass commands let you add URLs. You are likely to discover that's a little bit more interactive than you think, that it might not be the main website that's blocking you. It might be the page it's pulling the forms from or something. So you may want to, it's a little tricky. You may want to look in your browser's developer tools if it doesn't work and see what other domains you want to add. That's why we don't have clear instructions. It can be a little tricky, a little trial and error to find the right set of domains.
Yeah.
Cost a small fortune to do that on the Antarctica network. Yes. I figure
Yeah.
the people in Antarctica are working in a different world.
I think everything there costs a small fortune to do.
A couple Starbucks is $500,000 to have it flown in. Yeah. Okay. He is on Windows. Can you add a tracer for block site? If you look under DNS options in Speedify today, we do have like AdGuard as an option, which will block an awful lot of trackers and things. If you pick that, we don't really have a relationship with them. It's using the free version of AdGuard. If you turn it on, boy, a lot of news websites load twice as fast. Literally twice as fast. A lot of those fake stories, the sponsored stories, just disappear off the news pages.
Yeah. So I think Smash TV is asking if we can
show
add something to the like the user interface in Speedify of what domains we visited, so we can automatically bypass them. We've discussed that too. I think that would get.
I see. Okay, other way around. Right, gotcha.
We've pondered that and discussed that too. I think we're always hesitant to add something to Speedify that makes it crazy. I think that would add quite a bit of complexity and be overwhelming to some, but it could be useful to others. What I would suggest is if you're a paying customer, try connecting to servers in either Seattle or Northern Virginia. And I think you should get servers there that normal sites that block things should work for you. We've been transitioning our server fleet a bit. And so for paying customers connected to either Seattle or Northern Virginia, you should have a better experience.
All right. So I am told that WWDC has been announced. I haven't been paying close attention, Brian. June 10th to June 14th.
Yep.
What are you excited about there? Have you been paying attention?
So, I mean, the big thing, and they basically, to end the speculation, they're like, yeah, we're going to announce some AI stuff. So that's coming. They were sort of a little bit coy in the announcement, and then let's see, one of the executives was basically like, yeah, we're going to do that. So that's going to come. We'll see, but I think the thing I'm most hopeful for is please add 5G to a MacBook. That seems way overdue, and I thought for sure when they moved to Apple Silicon we'd start to get some 5G MacBooks, and no. So I'm hoping they finally do that.
Yeah, the Apple AI thing, kind of interesting, right? I mean, one, their chips have these like AI accelerators in them. So there's more horsepower on your phone to do AI stuff than you imagine. But I can't imagine, this kind of chat GPT stuff where you just ask it anything you want and it makes up any answer. I can't imagine Apple doing that. Right? I mean, there's no way to stop these things from not accidentally going Nazi and getting tricked into saying offensive things. And I just think they couldn't stand that. They would lock it down until it didn't work, right?
Yeah.
The famous thing with the Google thing where you couldn't get their image generator to draw a white person. Drew all the kings of England as,
Yeah.
women.
I don't know. We'll see. I think one thing it could definitely do better is I think taking what you ask and turning it into things that Siri can already understand. I think there's a lot of ways where it's like, well, if you ask Siri exactly this way, then it knows what to do. And if you stray from this at all, you'll probably get I don't know how to do that sort of answer. So if it just does a better job of doing what I'm asking for, that would be good without sort of introducing those sort of things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess, so when I was looking off screen a little bit, I was like hearing and feeling something, and I guess we had an earthquake.
Really?
Yes. when my eyes wandered off screen and was looking for the freight train that was headed for my house, I guess we had an earthquake. All right,
All right. I did not feel it here.
I definitely did.
I slept through our last 2 earthquakes. I haven't actually felt an earthquake since the 80s. Oh, yeah, we've had a couple earthquakes in this area, and I have slept through all of them.
Let's see. You were driving through the big one, right? That hit Virginia or something. You driving then, right?
And Mike was driving. I was sleeping in the passenger seat. And afterwards, he was like, "Was that an earthquake?" Like, "Was an earthquake?" So I missed it.
Oh man.
Anyway,
Yeah, it was crazy.
insomnia not a problem for me, but other things are. Oh yeah, look at that! Speedify keeps your stream alive through earthquakes.
Man.
Oh wait, the Smash TV network disagrees with you. No, the MacBooks do not need 5G. Wi-Fi is just fine.
How do we block people?
Does not need Ethernet. It does not need 5G. Up through a tornado. All right.
Oh boy.
I mean, obviously, we haven't had a major earthquake. They're all in the 4s around here. You know, knock on wood.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our mountain ranges are rounded at the top. It's been so long since anything interesting has happened, right?
Yeah.
No points on those mountains. All right. So we are going to have a video after this. Check out our YouTube channel. If you're on YouTube, stay there. If not, go to YouTube, search for Speedify, where we argue about Ethernet, whether or not it should exist. It'd be awesome. I'm taking Monday off to go try to see the eclipse. Drive up to upstate New York. And all right, what else? Oof. I'm from Los Angeles. I know earthquakes. My first one was 1971. Yes. You would know earthquakes. We need firewall. For what? Are you trying stuff from going out, from coming in? I'm curious why you think you need a firewall.
Yeah. Yeah. Is it for like local?
Oh, I know you
local,
want to.
Yeah. You trying to prevent local traffic? Like, yeah, I'm curious too.
Yeah.
I don't. Well, let's see. I know like mobile firewalls were a big thing, and then Apple and Google basically came down and were like, these are all fake malware. Basically, we're not going to allow them anymore, right? So I think, going way back, mobile firewalls were a thing, and they basically got
Ability to
crushed
stop
by.
apps from gaming and internet access. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you kind of want like an app specific kill switch, basically, sort of, right? I mean, I think I could see that.
Yeah, on Android we can see what app you're using, but on iOS, because of Facebook's nonsense, we're not allowed to see it. So they were putting out VPN apps and having them report back which applications are getting popular. So it was considered abusive, and it was, and therefore Apple took away from all VPNs the ability to see what apps you're using, even though we had legit reasons. Yes, for both iPad and Android. Okay. Do you not want it to get on the internet at all, or you just want to make sure it can't get on the internet except through the VPN tunnel? Another question. In a public version of the app, we can edit ourselves. Well, you can't get, things get tricky in an Apple world. Can't really Cannot currently really distribute things outside of the App Store, except to small numbers of people. So becomes a problem. All right. So Speedify 14.7 is out. Big improvements around parent share. Use parent share, check it out. If you don't use parent share, it's probably time to try it. Parent share is the magical feature where when you have multiple devices with Speedify on the same network, they can offer, the phones will offer to share their cellular connections with, the other devices, the PCs, the other iPhones. That's neat. So here, Comcast internet goes out, all of our phones on the Wi-Fi just help all of our PCs and Macs stay online. We did fun things where, I made a hotspot on my phone when we went to the baseball game. All of us joined it, and then, on my little hotspot, we all shared our cellular. And even though, cellular was terrible at the stadium, between the 5 of us, we ended up with this really good internet connection. We were actually able to, jump on a Google Meet and stream a little bit of the game. Whether that's legal or not, I don't know. But as proof of concept, it shows like we fixed the internet. The internet's terrible in these crowded stadiums. And right. Oh, there it is, a 4.8 magnitude earthquake in New Jersey. Holy cow. It's getting there.
Yeah. Yikes.
I'm closer to New Jersey than you are. How come I don't feel these things? Why do I never feel these things? Yeah, all right. Yeah. To reduce the data usage of apps, and if you don't trust an app with your data. Yeah, I sometimes think a lot about like certain things not being able to use cellular too, right?
Yep.
Like I do not want, Windows update going over my cellular. Just don't bother. Wait until I have a good connection. All right, these are good ideas. We're gonna take these back. We're gonna mull them over. Make Kevin do something about them. That's what he gets for not being on today. All right. I would love the update to Android. I'm Bentley using gray shirts, no root firewall on Android and Speedify on PC. All right. We will go talk about firewalls. Bentley equals currently. Autocorrect for the win. I was gonna look up, Bentley for Android to find out what it was. Yeah. All right. Stadiums. Allegiant Stadium has 10 1,000 gigabit connections. Internet and a very robust Wi-Fi system. I've used it during games. Pretty awesome. Well, that's good. Fan of stadiums with good Wi-Fi, but they're rare. They are rare. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a funny story, but I shouldn't tell it. About a professional stadium having us in and see if we could fix the Wi-Fi. People getting fired.
It's tough. I mean, at least multi-user MIMO makes things easier, but it's just difficult to maintain that many connections. I mean, you have
I think
110,000.
2.5 gigahertz might fix it.
Yeah.
Right. 1.2 gigahertz bandwidth. Right. That is so many Wi-Fi channels. Yeah, anyway, we'll see.
Yeah.
All right. Multi-user MIMO is the answer. All right.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Before that, it was just really, really tough to maintain, 110,000 Wi-Fi connections in the space of a city block, whatever a stadium is now. But now it's definitely more doable with MU MIMO.
So I was reading one of the security magazines. websites, whatever it is now. There's a product, a MIMO product for audio. It's a 64 by 64 array of microphones that you can mount on the roof of a studio, of a stadium. It's horrifying. And then you can tune it in software to listen in on any seat in the stadium. Right? By adjusting the phase of all those microphones, just like the antennas in a MIMO radio system, you can have it simulate a directed microphone pointed at a single seat. Horrifying. Apparently it works. It works. All you need is, what's that? 400 microphones. No, it's more than that. 3,600 microphones. Yeah. 3,600 microphones, and you can listen in on anything you want. All right. TT. I've been using Speedify since 2015. I just renewed for another 3 years a couple of weeks ago. Love this service. Nice.
Good to hear.
Yeah. Yeah, that is nuts and frightening. Sure is. And I will leave you on that note. So if you haven't updated yet, update Speedify 14.7. It is the best Speedify ever. Every time I watch one of those Apple presentations, I come away, I'm like, I just have to keep saying how great our software is over and over. Keep telling people it's cool. It seems to work for Apple, right? Here we go. GT says, I used it heavy during traveling. The RV sites would limit bandwidth. So if you buy 10 Wi-Fi singles, there used to be a coffee shop near our office that limited each guest to 1.5 megabits. And so we all just carried 2 USB Wi-Fi cards. We have 3, and then we'd Speedify, and we get 4.5 megabits. I don't know. What you're supposed to do is so limited. I don't need to suck up the whole thing, but limiting me less than 2 megabits, that's a little much. So
yeah.
3 Wi-Fi cards, and we were good. All right. Thank you, everybody. Check out this video on YouTube right after this. If you're not watching us on YouTube, pop over to YouTube, look for Speedify. It's going to be a video about Ethernet versus not Ethernet. And yeah, there's a link directly to it. And it will be awesome. Thank you so much, Brian. Thank you to everybody who listened. Appreciate all your questions. We're going to go back and talk about firewalls and IPs and things like that, what we can do better with them in Speedify. And on that, I will see you all online. Thanks, guys.